All right, so as I kind of go through all of these different devices and start assigning them out, you're going to have questions. It's a guarantee. Kind of hang on to those questions through our first 2 stops. I want to get us off this noisy street corner. I had COVID last week, and I'm still recovering from my voice. So as far as, I'm out of quarantine, no worries about that. But my voice. What's that?
What day are you?
Out of quarantine?
No, what day are you total?
Oh, jeez.
She's a doctor, is what she's asking. Just asking.
8, 9, lost track. Quite honestly. So, but anyway, back to devices. I didn't want to scare everybody with the word COVID, by the way. And everything gets sanitized. So, first device we're going to be using is thermal imaging. So you should be able to see me in there. So I'm the red, orange, and yellow guy. So this is the real deal. This is a FLIR thermal imaging camera. This is what firemen would use to actually help save people. It's a quick attachment for a cell phone and only works on specific cell phones. So this is the real deal. I like to make sure I point that out because a lot of people think, what app is that? It's not an app. So red, orange, and yellow guy, that means I'm the warmest thing in there. So what are we looking for in here? What do you think?
Red.
Not red. Cold. We're looking for cold spots, literal cold spots. So I know it's cold out here, but if we keep a person in view at all times, it'll be much easier to find something that's 15 to 20 plus degrees than the ambient temperature, which is about 44 degrees right now. So I'll be looking for anything right around the 30 degree mark. The cool thing about your video that you're going to get back, because you will get this full video back, I have it set up with a blue dot that bounces around the screen. That blue dot is there to show you the coldest spot in the frame at that particular moment. It's there to help guide your eye when you're watching your video. Keep in mind, I only spot check these videos and the audio pieces. So it's going to be, most of it's going to be up to you. I put it there on purpose so that way you can actually see what's going on. In the event I find something in my spot checks, you'll always get the screenshots from that, so that way I could show you exactly what we caught. So, I'm going to...
What? Yeah, the series of them.
So, just be mindful of your cameras while we're in here. You got anything crazy about 5?
I had 2 distinct things say the same thing. Pray for me.
You heard 2? You heard it twice.
Twice.
Pray for me. Interesting.
Pray for
you have
me.
anything going on with yours?
Sculpture. Right in front, like as we cross the street.
No. And this intersection.
I got this intersection. That's where we walked through it. That's all I got.
Did you get anything out of yours?
No, it's totally quiet.
Did you have it unmuted?
I did over there.
Uh-huh. Now it's nothing. Okay.
And no pictures here, right?
Pray for me twice.
You can keep that camera low, but
okay.
when that other tour is going to pass up this way, because we have to go out this way, we're just going to split the C and let them go by.
Okay.
So just kind of, I'll keep an eye on that. So welcome to Philadelphia Alley. And it looks like, see how hers is steady? Anything steady or in a pulse like that is going to be considered something man-made. So that's coming definitely from the lamppost. So she's getting about a 10 to 15 right now. So I would say anything for you is going to be like above a 12.
Okay.
Would be relevant in the location.
Okay.
So, Philadelphia Alley. This place, we all come down here, and for good reason. There's a lot going on here. This used to be called Duelers Alley. This is where some of the duels used to occur for the city of Charleston. We don't spread out in this location. We're here to stir things up. Here's why. Because the next location we go to, we're hopefully going to get bleed over from this piece of history as well, because it's relatively close. It happens all the time. We actually had more terms come out from this location over there last night. So it was kind of we're just going to be here to tell the history so you can actually envision it, and then we're going to move on. We all tell the same story, but we're ghost hunting. You're going to get different details out of me. Here's how the story goes. There's a doctor that moves down here from Rhode Island. His name is Dr. Joseph Brown Ladd. If you hear brown-eyed girl while we're here, it's not coincidence. We need, obviously, the color brown because of his name. He moves down here because he's supposed to get married to his fiancée, Amanda. Amanda just inherited a bunch of money from her dead parents. She has an attorney helping her out with all of this cash. The attorney thinks that Dr. Ladd is just after Amanda's money. He tells Amanda, get rid of the doctor. So to prove that he's not after her cash, he moves to Charleston. And as he's coming into town, the coachman set him up to be robbed and killed. It wasn't a good start to his stay here. Somebody was walking by and saw what was about to happen. His name was Ralph Isaacs. I stopped there for a second. Ralph has the same initials as where the doctor came from. Ralph Isaacs, Rhode Island. That is the exact reason why I bought the Ouija board device, because we were getting the letters RI here, even from the regular spirit boxes. The funny thing is last night I had the letters RI show up as we were exiting the location on the recorded spirit box. And it's not something you would think to hear like on the radio.
Yeah.
It's just a weird RI, and that was the end of it. Again, can't make this stuff up, guys. So anyway, that's the reason why we have the Ouija board. Ralph tells the doctor, dude, you don't want to stay here. This guy's going to try to kill you. I got some friends at 59 Church Street. You can stay there, rent a room, you'll be safe and good to go. Dr. Ladd took him up on the offer. They became friends. The longer the doctor stays here, the more money he's making. He's proving his point. He's not after Amanda's money. So Amanda gets wind of this. She's coming down, and the doctor's doing pretty well. He becomes known as the whistling doctor. He whistled all the time. This is the 1780s. That was a thing. So every haunted city you're ever going to visit in the future has a whistling ghost. It's cliche. We all have one. There is proof of this one, and I'm going to get to that. However, looks like we got some gentlemen passing through. So, Dr. Ladd and Ralph go see plays together. They can't sit next to each other. Why? The doctor makes more money. That's just the way the hierarchy works. He gets better seats. So they talk about these plays on the way home. One night they went to go see Richard III from Shakespeare. They're arguing over the new actress. Dr. Ladd thought she was fantastic. Ralph, not so much. The argument gets even more heated when Ralph starts insulting the doctor's fiancée, Amanda, back home in Rhode Island, and they go their separate ways. I told you Ralph has friends here. He goes to his friends at the newspaper, puts an ad in the paper telling the whole city of Charleston what he thinks of the doctor. So kind of a, you're a disgrace to society kind of mentality. Can we put that on mute for just a minute? So Dr. Ladd sees the ad and rebuttals with, let's go to Dueler's Alley. We're going to settle this. So they come down, they took their 10 paces, they turned. Dr. Ladd pointed his gun in the air, and he shot. He didn't want to kill his friend. He just wanted to have the courage and bravery to show up to the fight, which is often what happened at a duel. Ralph has his one bullet. Anybody want to take a guess where he put it?
In his own head.
No, we pointed at the doctor.
Where at in the doctor? The kneecap. Yeah, so the doctor didn't die either. He drops to the ground. Ralph proved his point. He still ticked off, not willing to forgive. Dr. Ladd's friends picked him up, took him home to 59 Church Street, where he dies 10 days later. He refused medical treatment. He's a doctor. He probably tried to bleed out the bullet himself. This is the late 1780s. It was more about lead poisoning than it was the actual wound. So he probably tried to bleed it out, and he died on November 2nd of 1786. So, every tour will tell you, as you're walking through here, listen for the whistles. We're using my voice recorder right now. It's not always going to be audible to the naked ear. So, I will tell you that if you're going to try this on your own, and without my voice recorder, and you go walking all the way through here, which, by the way, I can't take you all the way through, and I'm going to tell you why in just a moment. I got kicked out of here.
Why?
I'm a ghost hunter. They don't like me. We're going to get into that. But anyway, turn on your voice recorders, but keep in mind, every local knows this story. Anybody walking up and down Cumberland or Queen Street throws a whistle down the alley. I do it every single night. We passed my garage on the way here, which means I have to pass the alley every single night. If my daughter's on the tour, we race to see who's going to throw the whistle first, just to throw off all these other guys. Here's how I got booted out of here. This alley didn't come all the way through this way. So it was cut off about halfway between us and Cumberland Street. It's because this is where they kept the livestock for the city of Charleston. It was called Cow Alley back then. This is before Dueler's Alley. So, those bricks on that side are older. Those are sun-dried bricks from slave children. And there is one full handprint from one of the slave children that turned those bricks at the end of the alley. And I'm sure you guys realize I'm all about history. So I would always take people down there and point it out. However, it's out of bounds, and I was still new at this, and I didn't know that I was out of bounds. One night, my entire group, November 26th of 2020, is huddled around that brick trying to get a reading. Remember, I treat that brick just like a grave. That kid's not staring at that brick in the afterlife. So I'm trying to shoo them along. Not to mention, it's outside the kitchen window of the beautiful mansion at the end of the alley. I'm not allowed there, and I didn't know it. I was just trying to be respectful. So the new owner came out screaming that, my daughter was on the tour. She thought it was great because Dad's getting yelled at, and we moved on. The next day was Thanksgiving. I worked in retail management for over 20 years, mainly for Walmart. I'm never working another Thanksgiving in my life. So the day after that, I go back to work, and I get a phone call asking me to go down halfway, which is what we're allowed to do, or reroute. I told my group that night, I don't want to work my 10 people around 20 to 60, because we're allowed to go up to 20 people. It's really not that fair. So I told them we're going to reroute, but I didn't really believe in the story we were going to next, because I never had any real activity. And I'm a vampire guy, not a pirate person. So before we left, somebody hears the name Anne on a spirit box. I did not tell that group we are going to be investigating the female pirate Anne Bonny. So I went, damn it, let's start the season with them through. Excuse us.
Excuse us. Oh my God.
So I get a little like, all right, we'll see what happens with the pirate story. We get down there and I told them what little bit I did know about pirates that day. And somebody else hears the number 300, and I don't know what that means in real time. Well, we were there on November 28th, 2020. Anne Bonny's trial for piracy was November 28th of 1720. We were there on the exact 300-year anniversary of her pirate trial. So I've been taking you guys back there every single night in hopes that we're going to be able to capture more. Let's let this group pass through.
Pardon us.
Thank you. You're good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. How about yourself?
Okay, good.
We've met at a different graveyard.
Excuse us, sir.
So, this whole Anne Bonny bit, it's a hit or miss location. We're either going to have a ton going on or nothing going on. This is not a prominent prude English woman where we're going to have to tiptoe. Worst case scenario, you're going to learn a whole hell of a lot about pirates that you never knew before, because I have read more damn pirate books than I ever wanted to in my entire life, trying to piece together a factual investigation based on pirate lore, which is very difficult to do. Y'all need to be feeling very lucky that I have a master's degree in creative writing. I have an entire bookshelf in my office dedicated to nothing but pirates and how to debunk the lore that goes on around them.
Wow.
Yeah, there's a lot that goes into this. It's a fun story, so if you're into pirates, this is your bag, I promise. So, have we seen anything before we leave the space? You're looking at me like, holy cow, this guy talks a lot.
No.
Your eyes have been like, just the whole time. Before we leave the space, the gate behind me, remember that the alley didn't go all the way through this way. Not a whole lot of people know why that this archway is actually here. This was in the event that there was a loser to a duel, a dead guy. This was a shortcut to get to St. Philip's Cemetery. Like, otherwise, they'd have to go all the way down to the edge on Queen Street and come back down and around with the dead body, and that's going to hold them up from going to celebrate with the winner. So again, the wrought iron was probably put there in the early 1900s, but the archway has always been there, and that's the reason why. Not a whole lot of tourists will tell you why that's actually there. It is a courtyard on the other side now, but there's a cemetery just off to the left. You see him kind of looking around the corner there. All right, you guys ready to learn about some crazy pirates?
Yeah.
All right, let's do this. We're going to go up this way. A little warmer in the alley, is it not?
Yeah.
I can't take you down there anymore.
Darn.
It's very clear compared to others.
You might get read over from Philadelphia Alley, too. Again, that happens over here.
Camera wrong. Oh, maybe that's one of them.
Anything, Kelly?
Nothing yet. It's Ryan's dog.
What?
Ryan's dog.
Also look at that as a city. Pictures are the largest orbs I've ever caught has been right alongside them. And when I say largest orbs, it was bigger than my hand in any intelligence. So I was demonstrating like a laser light with that camera, and an orb came from behind, stopped about, 6 to 8 inches away from my head, and then went up, and then dissipated in frame. Like crazy stuff is happening. No, it was afterwards.
Alright. I think it's along the
Taylor, you got anything coming out of there yet?
Not that sounds like a ship name. Great.
Oh, I heard something, Marissa. What'd you get?
Funny name.
I heard the word 100 before. 100? You're from Youngstown?
I usually don't admit that.
I know. I was actually just at a literary festival.
Did you touch it?
Yes.
Yeah,
I want to
October.
touch it.
I want to walk around so I can touch
Oh,
that.
really? Is she a writer?
Yeah, she's also a 15.
Oh, no kidding. Yeah, I was
I touched the oldest government building.
Okay, now touch her. Touch her. Touch her.
Why?
Pass it to get over.
Oh, did you not touch it?
No, I can't get. She can't reach it.
Oh.
But I feel like the wall is pretty bad.
It feels weird. It doesn't feel how it looks.
I mean, I live in Akron.
Yeah, it feels really green.
It looks green.
It is.
Yeah.
My first marriage, I actually moved down here. It's not that I had. Here.
Right. The only thing I got was Angela. What? I don't know.
Me?
It was loud, Angela. I think where? Where are they? I'm talking about myself.
Arg. Did you hear that?
No.
It said arg.
Huh?
It said arg.
Who?
Me.
I was like, I don't hear anything. I'll get distracted.
I find the earthquake belts impressive.
You aren't gonna work. Oh my goodness, I'm
I know,
fine.
but they're just funny, like cool to look at, almost. I don't know what they thought this would do.
It's like the 1700s and they're stupid.
Like Titan what? What is it? What exactly is the Titan? Is there like a beam going through the house or something?
Yes. Probably. What do you think it would connect to, honey? It's connected
The walls.
in the middle. Yeah, there's a little bolt in the middle. Can you not see that?
Yeah, no, that wouldn't work. If anything, that'd make it weaker because
Well,
it's
they
putting
weren't the
strain on
brightest
the.
of the bunch.
It puts strain on the wall. I don't know why they
They
wouldn't
weren't
think
the
about
brightest
that.
of the bunch. I don't know what
They're
that
kind of
is.
stupid.
This is
Why
missing
is there
layers.
even mice in that?
Irish redheaded baby. Like,
Where?
we have something going on.
The little triangle and it goes down and goes up.
Where?
Oh, you did not see that in the brick pattern. The
Oh,
bricks.
that is kind of weird.
Peace out, guys. We're gonna go.
I wonder if anybody lives in that building.
It's freezing. But I also have I'm on medication. All right.
Thank you. I'm gonna take this as listening. Alright, fire you off.
Listen, this is completely awesome. I'm just sorry that my back is killing me.
Again, I'm not offended. You're wimping out. It's okay. We'll make fun of you later.
You were scaring the ghost.
All right, plug in. Okay. Do you want a fresh set of earbuds? Or are you good with those?
You want to do two?
Sure. I
Do
can
you want a fresh set
try.
of earbuds? Or are you good with
Oh,
those?
I'm good with these.
Okay. So your volume is right here. That's the only thing you need to worry
You
about.
want one of these?
So 5 seconds.
I'll trade this guy.
And you
Okay.
can handle this?
Okay, yep.
Does Jennings mean anything?
No, but we're also next to a cemetery. Sometimes we get leak over names.
Gotcha. I can't
So
listen
what are we
to
down
two
to?
things. So
What are we
we're
down
gonna
to?
switch.
6? We lost 2?
5.
We lost 3.
Oh, we lost 3 of them.
The 3 of them. Yeah, there were 5 of us, and now there are 2 of us.
Oh, so now we're down to 5.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought I scared away 2.
Well, the 3 of them, they always go together.
Ah.
It's like you,
Fair enough.
yeah, you scared
So
off
who
one.
else had a device?
You're awesome.
Which
It's
Just
they're
they're
freezing.
backwards.
They're totally wimps.
So so you've got the.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I
Got
just couldn't listen to 2 things, so we switched.
Yeah.
So
it. Okay.
I can hear and see.
Fair enough. That works. Okay. All right. So I say we wrap this one up since you guys haven't given me anything. Other than the word baby is good on there. And you had the name Jennings.
I know Muslim.
So let me tell you something about
Muslim, you said?
nationalities on there.
Yeah.
So this guy loves to predict somebody that's going to be on my next investigation.
That's
So
weird.
it is, and it's weird because it comes up with very specific nationalities, and I'll usually get a name to go along with it. So again, you gave me the name John earlier. I might have a John that's Muslim coming in on tomorrow night's tour.
Right,
I have
right.
no idea, but it does happen. I would say it's a good 60% chance that if a nationality shows up here, that's coming up in the next investigation or two.
Wow.
It's weird. Again, a good 60% chance. Those are pretty good odds.
So, yeah.
So, and when I say like, I'll get like Jose on a spirit box,
Yeah.
and then I'll get Puerto Rican on there.
Right.
Again, can't make this stuff up.
Right.
It happens all the time. So, let's go over to the wall so I can set the bag down and give you the answers to the simple
Yes.
location.
I love answers.
You
Also,
said
I want to circle around to the handprint. I know you're not allowed, but I need details so I can investigate later. Because it sounds so cool.
I want to
to
see the handprint. Yeah, I kind
It
of.
makes me sad. I
What?
want to see it.
I kind of want to see the handprint too.
so. To see it for
Did you hear me?
yourself is obviously
Yeah.
cool, but I will tell you when I did my initial investigation there, I don't do like always a nighttime overnight stay for my investigations. So like my blog and podcast for that particular alley, like there's pictures of it there
Oh,
if you want to
nice.
see it.
Okay.
So if
Is that on your website?
Yeah.
Okay.
And you guys are gonna all have access to that before
Okay.
we part ways. So you gave me Angela Ann Jennings. It might actually be a full name from somebody buried right next to us. I don't know.
Oh,
So again, I have access to cemetery records. They're pretty easy to get to. So again, I'll just dig through them and see if I can find an Angela Jennings or a Jennings or an Angela and see if
We
something
have
else matches
tons
up.
of family down here. And I would love to see.
So, but yeah, whenever we get weird names like that, what's weird is sometimes we'll get things wrapped around Calhoun because he is buried on the other side. That's your 7th vice president. So he's on the other side of that wall. And during the month of March, because he was born in March and died in March, is usually when I start to see activity wrapped around John. But anyway, getting back to Anne Bonny and our craziness here. One of the few pictures you can find of Anne Bonny with a shirt on. The
With
reason with a shirt.
Okay.
The reason
That's what
why-
I thought you said. I wanted to
Yeah, I know.
clarify.
Because she used to bare a breast to show men that they were just killed by a woman. I get a lot of teenage boys on this group. I don't need angry moms. So, the names of her parents, William Cormack, Mary Brennan, were her parents. So again, I wasn't throwing another subliminal name at you because of Mary Reed from the Friends, but again, Mary Brennan was the mom. I also like to show you what Calico Jack looked like because everybody wants to see what they based Johnny Depp off of. So, Calico Jack, the reason why they named him that was because of the jackets that he wore. So they came from the British captains that he killed.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, his father was a tailor, which means textiles were very important to him. Calico Jack, fancy jacket. That's where the name comes from. The name of his ship was called the Kingston. So I don't expect the word Kingston to come through this spirit box here, but the one that you have does pick up more disembodied voices, but the word king would actually suffice in this location as a direct answer. We have to sometimes mix our technology with what they're able to give back to us. So, this place is also another reason why I give that heated warning at the beginning of the tour. A year ago, this past September, I brought a group back to that wall. I always start back there so the other tours can cut through. And the kid next to me literally went white as a ghost. Like, I had to
Where?
pick him up. We were back there. I had to pick him up by his armpit, like to stop him from hitting his head on the ground. His boyfriend picked him up from the other side of him. We brought him over here. He starts feeling better. We get him a bottle of water. I then told the story that I told you about Anne Bonny. Afterwards, this used to be my last stop. So it was like, all right, guys, go have fun. Last stop, spread out, let's do this. They pull me aside and say, Nick, we got to tell you, we are 2 transgender males. Meaning I had 2 females dressed as males, just like Anne and Mary in the story, on the tour.
Wow.
And I didn't know it. It made complete sense as to why one of them nearly passed out the minute we entered the space.
Wow, that's weird.
This is the weird shit I see that I
Yeah.
can't explain. That's why I say if anybody has any of those kind of symptoms, I need to know. Psychics and mediums normally don't make it past the Pink Mansion site. I'm just going to be honest. Like, if they're a good practicing psychic and they have a spirit box, most of them don't want one. But I usually pick up if they say, I don't want a spirit box, that they're probably a medium of some sort. But if they're solid, they're not making it past there. There's too many messages and the EMF is way too high for them. So again, me mentioning my epilepsy to them, now you know why I don't play around with that high EMF. So that's going to cause me to have a headache, possibly a seizure, and that's not what you guys want to see.
No.
That's not what you guys came out for. So that's why we left that area. But that whole transgender thing that night, again, I'm going to probably tell that to the day I die.
Wow.
That was just one of those weird instances that you can't explain, but it did occur. So, the next space we're going to is our new space. It's something I don't know everything about. I will tell you what little bit I do know about it. And then this is where you guys get to teach me a few things. You're not recording at this point until we get into the location. From his son's death, his college friend calls him up and says, you know what, I have a cottage out here in Columbia, middle of the state. Why don't you come out here and you can finish writing the piece that you're working on, and you can have some peace and quiet. So his wife, Henry's wife agrees. She said, go ahead and go. He goes out, and that's where he writes his last words. His last words were, beholder of brief mortality, meaning person of short life. And then he coughs, and it lands on the page in the form of a bloodstain. It looks like a man writing. So, this is called the Blood Book. They only show it one day a year, the physical Blood Book, at the Charleston Library Society on Halloween. So, yeah, have to be a member to be able to go in and see it, though, I believe.
You mean the blood splotch looks like a man?
I'm going to show it to you.
Oh.
The internet's a beautiful thing.
Wow.
So, you can also see his last words, where it says, beholder of brief mortality, and the irony of him dying right on the page. After I show you this bloodstain, I am going to read a stanza from his poem entitled Charleston. It was written right in the middle of the Civil War, and I do that to try to stir things up a little bit, show the man a little bit of respect, writer to writer, so that way we can kind of hopefully get some answers from him. But this is the Blood Book. So you can see where the bloodstain looks like a man hovering over his desk writing it.
Huh. And he writes beholder of brief mortality, and then he just dies.
And then he just dies. So kind of a creepy story to end with.
This
But
went off, so I don't know.
you broke it!
I just want to make sure I don't miss anything.
The letter I.
Oh, because we're talking about him.
I know, right? So, the stanza. So questions you will be able to ask while we're here. Well, first off, Andrea, with yours, we have found spikes here on a regular basis, not every night, over 100. So you're going to have to explore to see where it's at tonight. It happens, I would say, 3 out of 7 nights a week. So again, well over 100. Motion sensor can come into play once you find out where that hotspot is. We have had the name of his wife show up. I didn't give you that. The name of his son's birthday, and how old the son was. So very specific things, but be very gentle. Again, very shy, timid, kind of writer. We know not in the temple of the fates, God has inscribed her doom, and all untroubled in her faith, she waits the triumph or the tomb. Last stanza of the poem Charleston, written in 1862, basically stating that the fate of the war is going to determine Charleston's outcome, the triumph or the tomb. So, again, whenever I read this out loud, we seem to get a little bit more. Sometimes we'll get the word triumph and or tomb to go along with it. So, did you guys see the camera that Jalen was playing with, like on his phone a little bit ago with the stick figures in there? So, we were talking about it because this is a new tool that I'm bringing to the tour next month. Of course, I need to experiment with it first. So I'll put me in the... Can you see my stick figure? See how I'm moving around? So the whole point of that camera is that it's going to pick up a stick figure of somebody that we can't see. So...
Did you see a stick figure earlier?
No.
No, he just downloaded it. So what I will tell you at the beginning of December, I had somebody bring one of the giant versions of this. Like it's an older model.
Poetry.
Oh, wow.
What does it say?
Well, down there.
That's
It's
amazing.
probably on our way here. What's funny is we had the son's name show up as we were walking here last night. So again, kind of weird stuff. But the person that brought their big giant, stick figure camera, we had a full 8-minute interaction with somebody standing right next to this monument. When I say 8 minutes, it was a, Henry, is it okay for me to read a stanza from your poem Charleston? Raise your right hand. And it went up and came back down. So again, the nice thing about that is I saved all footage. So
That's weird.
I don't know if this is just the head acting up, though.
yeah, it's picking up the motions of the head. So this was in a deep, empty space, and we tested it by other people walking around on purpose. You're going to find out before we leave tonight that I keep all of your data on my website for an entire year. I don't hide anything. So every investigation gets a rating and a score based off of my own, like what I normally see. So that way you could see like how heavy your investigation was versus somebody else's. So again, and I keep everything up there for an entire year.
So you saw a stick figure in real time? For
Real
8
time.
hours? Wow.
And it was on a tablet bigger than this. So it actually, the way that is designed, that's an app that I was telling him about because we're going to be using the app with an Apple product because that's really the only way it works. But the original model of that is to use a camera from a video game system with a tablet, and you put the software into the tablet so it can pick up the figures for you. But it's a giant device.
Right.
Obviously, that's why I don't bring it to the tours.
Right.
So when I looked into that. I contacted the developer and I said, how does this work? I need to know like what's going to be the best functional way for this to actually be legitimate based on what I do here. So I told him what I do, and he's like, that's amazing. He's like, you make money doing that?
Right.
I'm like, I make a living doing this. But at any rate, so we got an iPad Pro on the way, and of course I need to test it out on a few locations to know how it's going to react. But yeah, once I seen that, I'm like, I gotta have something.
Yeah.
And you guys all ask for it. So all the big fans of the TV shows, they're like, do you have the stick figure camera? I'm like, damn it, no, I don't have it. So, but at any rate, we are going to spread out. So Andrea, it's really all about you. Whatever you're hearing, and your numbers are going to telltale everything. That's going to basically tell us what's going on. So, Ouija board, I don't know what's going to happen in here. We haven't had a whole lot other than the college friends initials.
Do I
and
put
there's 3
this
of
thing
them.
up?
Not yet. Let's see if we can find the numbers first. The college friends initials are PHH. So we're going to see if those pop up. We've had them here in the past. Also, if you get the letters MV. So those are specific to somebody else. Another monument that's in here, and we've been getting clues around her as well. So PHH and MV. But definitely keep a listen in on your other spirit box, because you haven't done that all night. You just grabbed that from the other ghost hunter. Have you heard anything yet?
100.5, October 5th.
October 5th. October's good.
October's good. Okay.
I like October, the number 5. That's it.
Okay.
Keep in mind, also, we do get some homeless folks in here, so just kind of be mindful.
Whoa. I think it's just her figure acting up. That's weird. That scared me.
Off position.
Yeah. And then it keeps detecting the statue over there.
Yeah. So you're gonna find like anything that has a solid end to it, it's gonna pick it up. So if you were to, there's all those edges on the bench, it's gonna pick up all the beams of the bench.
And the trees also.
Yeah.
Like
It'll just look like a spider hanging there.
now there's a figure floating over there.
Nothing yet. He's just learning about it.
Yeah, it's kind of cool.
You gotta play with him. Daddy.
No, weird.
Not really.
Is that just another tour?
Yep.
They don't have cool equipment.
Nobody has cool equipment. I'm the only one in America that uses this caliber of equipment. Literally.
Wow, that's cool.
I keep on top of it. That's why I always update, upgrade, add to. Like, again, I only want to keep my groups to 10 people. So I'll take out something that I notice isn't as, say, exciting. So like the K2 meter will probably stay in my bag just for little kids in case I get a little one. Keeps them busy. But I have laser lights that I can't always use because there's a laser law in Charleston. I keep those in there. But like right, I could accommodate 12 right now, but I don't want to. It's no fun for you guys.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Especially me chasing down 12 people can be a little hectic. That's why I keep it at 10. 10 is like, that's a good solid
Sweet
number.
spot.
Yeah. Actually, like 6 is a great sweet spot.
Oh.
But
Yeah.
10, we could still have fun and find stuff.
This is horrible for trees. It keeps detecting
Yeah.
everything over there.
Okay, it's good to know.
This thing jumped up to orange right in front of here.
We've had activity from, this is Jackson's mother, right?
What is this?
The monument to Andrew Jackson's mother.
She's
Oh.
buried in Charleston. Not necessarily here, just somewhere in
Right.
Charleston.
She actually, my understanding, she was a student. I always get them confused because Calhoun's mom has a monument here too in the neighborhood.
Oh, okay.
So, again, I always get the two confused because they serve together. It's kind of like who did what.
They're both nurses? Like
No, Andrew Jackson
Okay.
and Calhoun, they were our 7th vice president and president.
yeah. Ask my 8-year-old. He has memorized all the names. He's obsessed.
Yeah, I'm not. That's the funny thing. I wait for
I
the
can't
ghost.
get it. Like, he'll be like, Mom, why can't you get this? I'm like, dude, I've been trying to win.
I'm past the fifth grade. I don't have it.
Yeah. Never said.
Hey, quick question. I'm on this app thingy. I push like this little Wi-Fi looking thing, and I get all this. What is this? What is this?
It's just changing the screen for you. So like when it's giving you like a full spectrum. Like I'm gonna use, yeah, that's a false infrared, like a false thermal,
No way I believe that.
because that's what most of your thermals are gonna look like. Is that one?
That's funny.
Garbage. But yeah, when I get that on the iPad, I'm gonna use the green screen with the purple stick figure because we already have an infrared that looks purple. So I don't want my guests to get the videos confused.
But if I see a figure, I should be able to like debunk that with the thermal, right? Because there would be a colder spot there.
Not always.
All right.
I mean, it would be highly likely, but so let me know what you get like up in this general
Okay.
area. This is where we've had the highest at 156.
Oh, here, I got 2. 2, 6. 2, 7. 14.7.
Seriously? 14.7?
14.7 for a second, and then it went away.
Okay, Henry, this is where you get to start giving us answers.
8.7.
You've gotten to know us.
What?
It was at 8.7.
Oh wow, that's the highest.
14. We should have
14 really quick.
Yeah.
That creeps me out. I can't take it.
You'll be alright.
I don't know, it's freaky.
But look around. There's no electricity near us.
What the heck?
That's pretty high, though.
And there's been some nights I come up here, there's nothing. And this is where we've gotten the 157.
What?
We've had 157 over in this area.
That's so weird.
2.6.
And then other nights, it's by the entrance of where we came in.
Really?
And it's been
What is it
over
now?
100.
And there's no, like, there's nothing. Who knows?
I mean, we're not close enough to a building for it to be able to be electricity from the building. And if it were, as you got closer to it, it would obviously rise.
Right.
So we test that stuff out all the time.
What is it now, huh?
And natural is up to 1.1. So the Earth is going to give off a natural yield. So that's why I go straight to 2.5.
What's the highest?
4.
Henry, what do you want to tell us? We're all listening.
Oh, 10. 12. 19. That was so crazy. No, 8. What's the reason for it?
Now we know on me.
Tell me,
I wish you.
can you say what you know when you tell us something?
Henry, why don't you tell us the name of your wife? This big piece is called ethnogenesis. I haven't gotten that far. I have his collection.
Yeah.
I just haven't read it.
9.3. That's my
No temperature.
Nothing.
ethnogenesis. 1.8.
There's a word today on there. What's today's date? January 27th?
Yes.
27.
27th.
Yeah, it's the 27.
3.5. 4.2.
Tell us the last word that you wrote. Beholder of truth. Any other numbers?
Just they're low. Oh, here we go. 2.1. 1.9. I was gonna say something smart, like the outcome of the war. 18.
What?
I 18.
18?
Yeah, because I feel bad that he was a I mean, I'm saying I don't like that he was Confederate. So sorry.
Well, he's a
It
native,
didn't work
so
out.
there was no other way for him to
I know.
get away from that. You guys have anything going on with your devices? We're getting
I
some
heard 80.
10.
Yeah.
What was his line about the tunes or
the triumph or the tomb.
yeah. Sorry. Five point two. 27.
Ooh,
That was brief.
getting
What
spicy.
did it say?
27.
She's getting
I
E,
heard
not to
Amadeus.
11.7.
Still no temperature.
No idea what that
15.
means.
10.
And again, there's been times I've come up to this corner, nothing. Like absolutely nothing. Like 0.1s, 0.2s, like nothing drastic at all.
6.8. 12.3.
I'm gonna stick to anything above 20 at this point.
Okay.
Just because we're getting some pretty decent spikes out of that. And you're not hearing anything coming out of yours?
We could just keep being really snide.
I'm telling you, he loves that. He's very timid.
17.8. I mean, I don't mean to be mean, but I like that contrast between. Didn't he say something about being true to heaven's vision and then on the wrong side of the false idea of the vision?
He did. But his poetry of the battlefield was more about the heartbreak and about the death
Oh, really?
and the anger and the hate.
That page that you just saw in
You
there?
know,
Yeah.
it wasn't about like, hey, we're Confederates.
Yeah.
You know, it was
This
a
is
very
really
heartfelt
cool.
Really
type.
cool.
Okay.
Yep, these
Okay.
are
Very
the ones those
romanticized
drinkers.
to like I've read
Hey,
quite a
let me
bit of
see
it
this.
and Anna's
What you got on
biography,
here?
so I kind of knew like where he was coming from.
Looking for anything below
No,
like
not at all.
20-ish.
Okay.
He was a very poor man. The man was just trying to make a living.
Right.
You know, and he was writing for the
You know,
Mercury.
that
which was a
meme that you
Charleston
sent me
newspaper
about
at
people
the
with
time.
septums? I've been doing that.
Getting paid for all
We're
the
just going like,
time
Right.
just for
It's really weird, and I hope you don't get in the habit of doing it.
no, I was just like
Yeah,
that in the
just
car.
Nothing showing up on that Ouija board of yours?
I just got an M, but before I had an S. So SM.
No, yeah, nothing. And you're not hearing anything. on
Secret message.
yours? Way to stretch it, Jalen. Appreciate it. I love all the numbers that are going on, but I don't have any terms. So until I spot check, obviously
19.
the recording, I won't know like what was being missed.
17.
And again, there's no explanation of why I get decent readings some nights, and other nights it's in well over 100, and other nights it's down to 0. And it's this grassy knoll, the one over there, we actually had some decent readings from, and then I don't remember where the other one was, but it's normally these two. It's like it bounces back and forth wherever he feels like he's going to hang out. It's the weirdest thing. The MV, I see on YouTube looking at the Marguerite Volk over here. That's where we've gotten, on the Ouija board, we had almost the name Marguerite spelled out for us. I think we were missing one letter. So
What is that?
That lady's name is Marguerite.
Yeah.
That's what that little monument is over there.
Oh,
She
okay.
is dancing.
Okay.
We've had her initials show up here. Again, this is just a weird location.
Excuse you.
This would be good.
Stick to it. But yeah, she was definitely getting a couple of 18s, 19s when she had a 27.
Yeah, this one's up, but what is that? Is that
Electricity in the air.
well, it wasn't here.
What you hear? I can no.
You're done.
I can't hear two things at the same time.
Alright. It's all zeros. It's not much over here.
Alright. Let's head over to the bench. We'll wrap up this party and
The bench. Ooh.
so, simple answers to this location. The wife's name is Katie. We learned that by a DJ introducing a Katy Perry song 2 nights in a row. And that's when things stick out to me, when I hear the same thing twice, either consecutively or on the same night. The son was born on Christmas Eve, and he died 9 months later on October 23rd. We keep getting the number 23 here. That's why when you heard the word October, I was kind of like, okay, obviously we're not in the month of October, so that would be a big flag for me to pay attention to. Now, if something happened in January and we keep getting the word January, that's pretty obvious. But during holiday time, it was an easy grab for us to ask Henry when his son passed away or when his son was born, and we would hear Christmas Eve. So it's an easy grab. Let's see. What else did I give you as questions? Is that pretty much it? The son, his birthday. And I'm excited about October. We also had the word daddy show up on this word list. Where's the other phone? So Jalen. But yeah, I'm pretty